Grace to you, friends, and peace to you. Let's welcome this new day with prayer. Praying with Psalm 48. We ponder your steadfast love, O God, in the midst of your temple. Your name, O God, like your praise, reaches to the ends of the earth. Your right hand is filled with victory. Let Mount Zion be glad. Let the towns of Judah rejoice because of your judgments. The Psalm's vision of God dwelling among his people is fulfilled in Jesus. Paul makes that abundantly clear, that in Jesus, the temple that God dwells in isn't a physical space. It's the life of his people. That comes through in 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5, where Paul says, "Examine yourselves to see whether you are living in the faith. Test yourselves. Do you not realize that Christ Jesus is in you?" Paul's gospel is grounded in both the humility and the grace, the boldness with which we are able to stand before God in Jesus Christ. It's this humility that allows us to be searched by God, to be known, examined, tested by God, while also being confident in the humblest of them all, Jesus Christ, who dwells in us and who is the one that makes us perfectly acceptable to God, the one who really makes us free. Sister Joan Chittister subtitles her book Radical Spirit on the 12 Steps of Humility in the Rule of Benedict. She subtitles it 12 Ways to Live a Free and Authentic Life. And in the 10th step of humility, we hear that we are not given to ready laughter, for it is written, "Only fools raise their voices in laughter." And Benedictine Sister Joan Chittister unpacks what this might mean for us today when she says, "The spirituality of laughter is running underground within us. It tells us what we do with our rage and what we do with our honor. It refuses to allow us to hide ourselves behind hostile remarks. It makes us think again before we say, 'Oh, I was just kidding. Don't take everything so seriously.' We know what a living lie bad humor can be. Finally, the spirituality of laughter calls us to protect the powerless around us, as well as to deepen our own souls. Until we discover the difference between wit and sarcasm, between what's funny and what's crude or rude or unkind, we have a soul without sensitivity. Healthy humor is what enables us to relate to the rest of the world without threat, without pain. It takes us into the heart of the other and leaves them feeling better than they were when we got there. It gives the gift of holy laughter, which takes away the gloom, the darkness of the day, and makes life alive again. We keep handing God our lives in prayer, trusting that God makes them alive again, turning us inward to the place where Jesus dwells in us, so that as we look outward, we may be confident that we do live in a world that is shot through with the love of God, even with all that it contains, and so that it is perfectly safe and the best thing we can do, day by day and moment by moment, to abandon ourselves into God's care. So let's do this with Charles de Foucault's prayer of abandonment. Father, I abandon myself into your hands. Do with me what you will. Whatever you may do, I thank you. I'm ready for all. I accept all. Let only your will be done in me and in all your creatures. I wish nothing more than this, O Lord. Into your hands I commend my soul. I offer it to you with all the love of my heart, for I love you, Lord, and so need to give myself, to surrender myself into your hands without reserve and with boundless confidence, for you are my Father. In case we would forget, the gospel tells us that Christ is in us. Let's live him, in him, and from his life today. Let's bless the Lord. Thanks be to God.